Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to talk about the New York Comic Con Hasbro panel. They showed off some Marvel Legends, they showed off some Star Wars, and they showed off the new Tron. So let's just go backwards and just get right into Tron, because that is all new and kind of exciting. You got TRON Aries hitting theaters on Friday, or tonight actually, if you wanted to think about it. You can go to the tonight showing, but Friday. And they got some 6-inch TRON Aries figures that they showed off, and they have at the booth at New York Comic Con. They did announce a 3.75-inch TRON HasLab today, and it's launched and it's going full steam ahead. Now, it's about $250, about $300 after tax and shipping and stuff like that. You get 2 light cycles and 5 figures. Now, these are not like those 5 POA figures that we had from the Disney parks that were made by Super 7. These are more along the line of the vintage collection figures, where they're fully articulated, which means they have the elbows and the knees and all the joints you can imagine, so you can get them into some fantastic poses throwing those discs. Now, they do have the 2 light cycles that come apart, so you can recreate that light cycle coming together scene. That's kind of the way that they build it. And it looks really, really cool. And you might say, is it too expensive? Is it not too expensive? So let's just put that price into perspective before we move on to some of these other brands. So let's talk about the Disney parks light cycles and TRON figures. Now, those TRON figures at the Disney parks were about $25 a piece when they came out at the park. And if you wanted the light cycle with a figure, it was $70. So if you got 2 light cycles with 2 figures, you figure that's $140. And if you picked up 3 more figures to have 5 figures, then you're already looking at, you know, a little over $210, $220, and then up to $250 after tax and stuff like that. So you could say it's comparable, but you're getting a lot more with these figures because you're getting that lighted stand. So check out this video. You can see the lighted stand at the bottom. You can see all the figures. It looks really kind of cool. This is actually a cool idea, and I'm still debating in my head, is it priced right or is it too expensive? I have to think about it for a little bit, but I feel like it might be on the expensive side, considering I always felt that those Super 7 were too expensive for what they were, and they were much cheaper than this. So anyways, the one thing that I was surprised about, though, let's get into it. They had those 6-inch TRON Aries figures that are on display, and there was no mention of them in the panel, which surprised me. So I'm imagining they're going to be about 25 bucks a piece, but in the pictures, you can see there's a light cycle in there. So I'm curious to know what the figure and that light cycle is going to cost. And my guess is going to probably be something around like the $65, $70 range, similar to maybe the G.I. Joe. But we'll see, because G.I. Joe doesn't hold a license like Marvel and Star Wars and TRON now. So there's probably a licensing fee, and it could be a little bit more expensive. Okay, let's talk about Star Wars. So their big reveal to me was that they are going to add some figures for that HasLab gunship that came out. They showed them off in their presentation. I was not oohing and on over it, considering I know they just raised the price of the TVC figures. They also revealed a Black Series Boba Fett, and I guess it's got new tooling and stuff like that, and it has toe pivots, so you can get him into the kneeling position? Okay, but I still want to know if he can fire those rockets off from his knees. Anyways, so they got that new Boba Fett, and I know they just updated the Boba Fett not that long ago. They have Body, where they had all the Mandalorians and stuff like that. So is this like their way of saying, we're going to give you a whole bunch more Mandalorians? Now, the Boba Fett does look pretty cool, but I don't know if toe pivots are going to be enough for me to say, I need another Boba Fett from the Book of Boba Fett. And they look like they have them in a throne, and I'm not sure if that throne comes with the Boba Fett or not. I have to like rewatch the thing or whatever and just see what they said. And it's very curious about that Boba Fett. Anyways, I wasn't really impressed that much with what was happening with the Star Wars lines. Let's move on to Marvel Legends. They have a couple of waves coming out. Of course, their big thing is the timed edition of Apocalypse. Now, it had a boatload of features, and they keep saying, it's 12 inches, everybody, it's 12 inches. That's their new big thing, is just to do this timed release with a 12-inch figure and charge you about $100 for it. Well, you know what? I used to collect 12-inch figures. They were called G.I. Joe figures, And you know what? I started collecting 6-inch figures because the 12-inch figures were just a little bit too big. So yeah, throwing 1 or 2 in there is kind of cool, but I don't know if every year, you know, getting them, eventually you're going to have a shelf full of 12-inch figures. So for me, I don't think I need that big of an Apocalypse, but he looks really cool in their display. I gotta admit that. Secondly, they did the thing where they released a couple of waves, and the figures I'm most excited about is Werewolf by Night. Now, he doesn't look super fantastic, but because of the articulation, the fact that he's a wolf, I think that's pretty cool. Plus, they announced that they were going to come out with the Medusa and the Black Bolt figure. Now, I have my Black Bolt figure from that 5-pack that they did at Comic Con a few years ago, and I always thought this was the coolest one. But I got to tell you, when they came out and that Black Bolt's got a lot of accessories, I think it's kind of neat, and I'm kind of looking forward to it. But anyways, they had a whole bunch of Marvel Legends figures that they revealed today, and some of them are going up for pre-order right away, and some of them are not. But anyways, I've been showing the pictures along with me going off about what they showed off, so you can see all the reveals and stuff like that, because I just can't picture them off the top of my head. They had Star Wars, Marvel, and of course Tron for the Hasbro panel from New York Comic Con. That was a quick little wrap up. Just a couple of the things that I'm looking forward to. I'm still debating in my head about this, like Tron and the price point and stuff like that, but I'm super interested in that 6-inch line, and hopefully we'll get some of those 80s versions of Trons for that. I'm really looking forward to Werewolf by Night and some of the other figures in that wave. And I'm kind of out on the Apocalypse, but it's available to pre-order now, and it's a timed release, so go get it if you need Apocalypse for your collection. And I don't think I need Boba Fett just because he has a toe pivot, even though it is adding articulation instead of taking it away. Anyways, thanks for tuning in. I really appreciate it. And as always, have a fantastic day.